Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. I'm really grateful today. It's really wonderful day that I have Vishal today. So Vishal is an actor, a host, and you'd have seen him a lot of places in movies, and I think in serials and shows. And so, thank you very much, Vishal. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lakshit. It's an absolute honor to be with you. I listen to your podcast, and I think it's very educational and entertaining. So keep up the good work, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So before we shall getting into any other thing or any kind of talk or anything we get into, why don't you introduce yourself to us? I think you don't need an introduction. Everybody knows you. Not if not your name, everybody knows you by face, I think. But anyways, why don't you introduce yourself by what about with your work and what you do? That would be great.
Okay, I'll keep it short. My name is Vishal Malhotra. I'm a father, I'm an actor, and I'm an airplane lover, and I'm an entrepreneur.
Okay, great. So every other actor would get a question is how, like, why did you become an actor? What inspired you? What made you to think about being an actor?
Well, Lakshit, it's basically fate had these plans for me. I never had any plans of becoming an actor. I started off hosting shows for Walt Disney. I was the face of Walt Disney in India, and I started that at the age of 17. Um, and it was basically a job that I did to earn pocket money, which was a lot more than pocket money, which would help me at least pay for the initial part of my education in the United States of America. And that is what I was planning to do. I was planning to go and study in the US and do my undergrad out there. So that was the agenda. But I guess, life had and fate had other plans for me. So one thing led to another. And I would say a beautiful accident.
Okay, great. And it's again, it's really I'm really grateful again for you to be here and joining me. It's really wonderful. It's
Thank you, Lakshit.
it's again seeing you on a screen, acting and speaking with you. It's really wonderful. And you said that being an actor is not on your plan, and I think it happened. It just happened as a coincidence. So how will you um what would be your if somebody is wishing to do something and doesn't achieve it, like if somebody wishes to become an actor, if it doesn't become actor, or if somebody wishes to become something and doesn't become something, what would you like to tell them? And if it as you wanted to study in the US, and you didn't, because of you getting offers of movies and something else, you didn't go to US to do your studies. So how did you make yourself कि चलो अच्छा है, I didn't get that, but I got something else. How did you make yourself comfortable with what you achieved and what you got?
So I just want to kind of make sure that there's no misunderstanding. It's not that I was disappointed about not going for my further studies to America. It's just that I was spoiled for choice. With my new career, and it's a path that I chose. But I guess I think what you're trying to ask me is how does one deal with disappointment about not getting what they foresee themselves doing, right? That's your question. So the first question you should ask yourself is why do you think um, are the reasons that you're not getting what you want to achieve? Uh, and when you do that with a clear, neutral mind, with practicality, which is hard at that time because a lot of emotions come to play, somewhere you get the right answer, you know. So, uh, and once you get the answer that these are the three, four reasons, primarily, there's only one. Why you're not getting the things that you feel you deserve or what you aspire, uh, you can work towards solving it and making it better. And 99.9% of the times, the solution of that particular problem is in your hands. You know, so that's the way you deal with not achieving what you really aspire to. But I very strongly believe that if one is very, very determined to achieve something, it can be anything in the world, you will come, you will either achieve it or you will come very, very close to it. That's it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
analyze why you're not getting it, analyze why you're not getting it. And once your analysis come through, pay heed to all the situations that are coming up as to why you're not getting it. And then you can kind of go ahead and work towards, you know,
Okay. Okay.
solving that problem.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Great. And what in the initial days of you getting into, you were hosting and all that, how did you like what was that initial part of learning, were you just a question I want to ask to you is when you wanted to become when you started hosting for Walt Disney on Sony, at that point of time, were you were you good at hosting, or were you learning how to host, and how were things that time? I just want to know, curious about that.
Was I good? Is that your question?
Yeah, like in the sense, yeah, of course. I mean, you got selected for hosting, so of course you're going to be good for that. But what did you learn that time while hosting, and what were the problems you faced while hosting?
Nothing really. I mean, honestly, I don't want to romanticize it. It wasn't really something which is uphill. I did realize, and I say this with a lot of humility, that I realized I'm bloody good at it. I had no. It's like, it's like yeah, and I don't mean, I'm not egoistic, but this is what I'm trying to say. It's like, I'll give you an example. It's like somebody who's never played cricket in their lives has all of a sudden been given a bat, and when he starts playing, he realizes that he's hitting one six after another, and he realizes he's bloody good at it.
Mhm.
So it was a hidden talent of mine which I myself didn't know.
Okay.
Uh, I had no inkling about it. I had no inkling, and when I did it, uh, I felt very natural. I felt very comfortable. I realized that I found a forte, a strength in my talent, in myself, in my character, and it kind of helped me understand at that point. It's too early in life to analyze, but it also naturally gives you a basic analysis of, here are my plus points and here are my negatives. This is what I'm good at and this is what I'm not, and what I need to work on. And this is something which naturally came in and ticked all the boxes. So the first realization was not even realization, but an awareness that, okay, I'm comfortable with this, I'm good with this, I'm natural with this, and I can take this beyond what it is right now. So that's the first thing, which at the grassroots came across
Okay. Okay.
when I
Okay.
look back now. Hmm.
Mhm, mhm. And how was that? How did you feel that time when you got this hosting? Being a 17-year-old doing something as big as that, I think it's really you really get inspired, and you get to know that you are capable of something that people are. Somebody gives you that chance. Of course, you were worth it. You had some talent which helped you get that role of hosting there. But how did you deal with that kabhi kabhi galtiyan, if you just make some mistakes, or sometimes how did you correct yourself in that mistakes, how you learned through that process of how does that help ki that 17-year-old Vishal which made mistakes and which was in that phase of learning, and today Vishal which is still learning but knows things and how to handle things, how do you
I
see?
felt I I felt I did a lot of more correct things at that time,
Okay.
because I was so unaware, I was naive, I was pure. Now, when you know a little bit of the tricks and traits, if you've been around for so long, you kind of make mistakes because you're conscious. There, you just let your heart drive you, not your mind. So, I guess one of my first learnings is the fact that there are certain fields and there are certain careers where your heart and your instincts are more predominant than your conscious thoughts in your mind. So basically, heart over mind. Of course, then there are fields where it's all the mind. Like, you can't be a doctor and treat somebody just because your heart says so. But in my personal experience and my knowledge, I feel that I am in a kind of a career with my acting career where it's all about what your heart says and all about what your instincts tell you to do rather than what your mind is. Because the moment you put your mind into something, you're kind of making the process of creativity a little impure, you know. Uh, and that's what I learned very early, but realization always comes later on, and that took its time. So I feel that I made a lot of correct decisions at an earlier stage in my career because I was thinking from my heart. I was thinking about my happiness. I was thinking about what would make me happy. Would I be happy if I'm on the set, more than uh, the commercial aspect, more than the success, more than the repercussions of that project. But if I did anything wrong, I was very fortunate to be surrounded by great teachers in my directors, in my producers, in my co-actors. And I had the great opportunity of working with esteemed personalities, diggaj jo kehte hain Hindi mein, in the film industry at a very very early stage of my career. So all the intimidation, all the scare, all the fear, that all got over that time only. Uh, and it was nice, yeah, because they taught you, they kind of held you. Uh, so a lot of teachings. Nobody ever kind of, very rarely did it happen, or it really did, that somebody kind of picked you up and just, you know, uh, cut you into half and demotivated you and discouraged you. No, that never happened. What did happen is that they realized that, okay, Vishal comes with a certain amount of talent, and if we encourage him, he will just totally exponentially use this talent to the 100%, and that's more than we need. And that was amazing because that worked wonders, Lakshit.
Hmm.
I'm a kind of a guy who, um, I work well under pressure, but I don't work well under pressure when it comes to the acting field and anything creative, and I don't think anybody can. But I work in a manner that if you encourage me even a little bit, I will catch momentum very fast, and then it'll help you. So a lot of my directors kind of understood that, and they had the foresight. And of course, the normal mistakes of not remembering your lines sometimes. I remember my very first schedule uh, for Disney was shot in New Delhi, and there were a lot of shoots. One of the particular shoots was at 5 o'clock in the evening at India Gate. All right. And it was winter, so we were losing light, and I had to make this whole big monologue, and I just wasn't getting it. And the light was going, and the crowds were coming in. So, at that time, it happens now also, like you just go to a crowded place and you start shooting, you'll have people coming in hordes. And at that time, it was my first schedule, so nobody even knew me. But yet, they saw a camera, they said, "Are shooting ho rahi hai, Amitabh Bachchan hoga." But it was scary because I remember that moment even now, like 25 years later, because I remember being there, not wanting to disappoint my crew. The light was going. I had to get this 5-page monologue in front of the India gate with crowds, police coming to turn the crowd away. That was a toughie. But I managed to do it. And at the end of the day, we went back to the hotel, and my director came to my room and he sat me down and he said, "This is a great learning experience. And you did it well." So I take strength from learnings like these. And I guess one, if they want to learn from this experience, they can correlate this to various turning points in their lives. So yeah, that is how I deal with understanding things and moving on with it.
Okay, okay. And what do you how do you keep yourself motivated? In life there are some points where you're like, okay, yeah, I have done good job, and maybe I can try something else, or maybe you feel like you're not when you're not that energetic, when you don't feel to do things. How do you keep yourself motivated to do things?
So my absolute motivation is my daughter.
Okay.
I cannot stand it if she's very young right now, but I will not be able to stand it if she grows up and uh, she doesn't see me as a working actor. Uh, you know, uh, So it drives me. Fear of that drives me. But I've also reached a place in my life where I like to balance things out and I prioritize a lot of things. So it comes to a point where sometimes where I feel that my body and mind is really saying, look, I know you don't have energy today, just take a day off. I do it. I do it. I do that because I feel it's very, very important to reset your mind. Uh, and that's been one of my secrets that a lot of people ask me, it's been 25 years, somewhere or the other, for the last 25 years, any channel I put on, you will be there somewhere. Like right now, I'm currently on Netflix, right? There's a movie of mine which is on Sony. There is there's a show of mine which is on Z. So it's archived. I mean, and I'm extremely grateful and I'm so thankful for this. So I feel that to, the secret is that you got to kind of reset yourself as much as possible. You got to kind of get your mind and your body in sync to keep that energy alive. So if you need to take a day off, I take a breather here sometimes.
Okay, okay.
Sometimes I take more than a breather.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And what would this one question I just wanted to ask you from the start, that what difference do you see in the industry of that time when you were 17 and now, maybe at at your age now or present day? What do you see the differences in, I think, past a decade or more? What are the differences do you see?
Okay, so there's good and bad. There's a huge transformation which has happened. The good is very obvious. Of course, technology has played its part. People have become a lot more professional, lot more. People have become a lot more systematic. Uh, so these are the obvious parts. The quality of the actual product is a lot better because of technology. Uh, Content is given a little more priority also now. And on the downside, I feel the purity is gone to a big extent. Um, it's becoming too much of a commercial game, which is good also, but you understand that there's a bad side to it also. Um, I feel that what one very bad thing that I feel that I'm disappointed in personally is that uh, the writers and the writing has not been given the importance that is due and I thought would be given over time. Like a cinematographer, an actor, a director, producer, they've all grown at an exponential graph rate. But the writers haven't been given that due. I feel that today a writer, excuse me, if he's given the due that he deserves, we will all get better content.
Hmm.
You know, so so there are the good, there are the bad, but
Right.
the purity has reduced, the simplicity has reduced.
Okay, okay. And how do you think this the purity and that how can you bring back, give that power to writers, and how can you help writers as an actor, or how can you, like, what changes can be made?
Oh, a lot. As an actor, I make sure that I sit down with the writer to prepare. I mean, he is my crutch. I sit down not only with the director, of course I do, but I sit down with the writer. I actually get involved with him. I don't interfere in his work, but obviously the script is there. The writer has pretty much done his work. But to understand the characters, I always sit with the writer, and I've always got great insight. Because for me, a character is not only what he is from the day he starts shooting or from where the first page of the script is. There is his life before that. You know, uh, how does he walk is very important for me. A walk of a person tells you a lot about a person. Uh, how he was 5 years ago, 10 years ago as a child, what is his family history, does he have any? So these are things that the writer will be able to capture, and the writer will kind of capture that and the writer will kind of start rising in his own and in the view of the world. So the attention will be given more quality work will be coming, more people will aspire to be an actor, a writer, sorry, more people will aspire to be a writer, and that will be like an avalanche. It will kind of just generate more and more interest. see a lot of people get turned off even if they're great writers. They say eventually I'll become a director. मतलब मैं writer बन के director बनूंगा. But how do we make a writer remain a writer and specialize in that? And one of the ways is to obviously um, make sure the remuneration is more.
Hmm.
So and give them more importance basically because they are trust me, they are extremely important, if not one of the most important at par with the director.
Okay, okay, okay. And like, who inspires you more? Like, whom do you look forward to be, in like as an actor?
Huh. My I really don't take inspiration from any particular actor,
Uh-huh.
but I see films, and in the films I see moments, and I like how certain actors play a certain part, and it always interests me as to how, if I get a scene, as to how probably another actor would have enacted it, or those kind of things. The strong actors of, according to me, are uh, Dhanush from the south, uh, uh, Pankaj Tripathi, of course, he's outstanding. Uh, Manoj Pava, uh, amongst the main streamlines. I like the simplicity. I like the naturalness in which Ranbir Kapoor kind of does his work, and he brings so much of his personality into a film. And he's, according to me, got an amazing personality. Um, Ranveer Singh, because if you see the way that guy has molded himself in all his roles, is not easy, and he makes it look so effortless. Um, so, you know, uh, let me think. Yeah, I mean, I'm forgetting so many names, but it's basically different projects, different scenes, uh, different ways in which they kind of enact those roles. Very, very inspirational, very motivating. Uh, and you learn, and then, oh wow, I perceived I would have enacted this in this way. Maybe that would have worked, but I see another reason that he's done it this way.
Mhm. Okay, 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 great, fine. And I think I remember you seeing, I don't know which movie was it. I think one was you seeing Who's the Happy New Year, if I'm not wrong. And and I think one more was in Viva Ek Aisa Bhi. I think that was the other one playing the role of the actress. It was wonderful. I think that was the time when I felt in love with the acting in the
Of the
way we
or of the actress. I
actress,
was never the actress.
the brother of the actress. I mean,
Ah,
yeah.
I said, when did I become an actress here?
Yeah, yeah. I just said the brother of actress. I loved it. That was the time when I fell in your love in your acting. For the thing, yeah. So how this one thing I want to ask you is, the people today say something as good, but he or she's a good actor, or he or she's a bad actor. How do you differentiate? How do you understand that this actor is good, or this or that actress is bad?
I don't. I never do. I feel the fact that that person is on screen means that the person
Yeah.
has beaten thousands of people, lakhs of people. So the very fact that they are on screen on any project means it's commendable. You know, in a population of 1.5 billion nearly now, uh, I'm sure at least a few million people want to be an actor in this country, right? Which is great.
Hmm.
But and to at that moment be in an aspirational job like that you're in front of a camera, and even one person is seeing that, you're a good actor, यार. And good actor का मतलब क्या होता है यार? मतलब कमर्शियली भी होता है,
Hmm.
भी होती है, परफॉर्मेंस भी होती है, ये सब होते हैं. तो I never judge यार. I'm of a belief that the person who's made it and is in front of, uh, you're seeing somebody on TV. Wow, मतलब ये है. It could be any project. It could be a film. It could be a television show. It could be an ad film. It could be an OTT thing. It could be whatever. But at the end of the day, he's there or she's there, and that's amazing. That's one in a million right there.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I never judge. Yeah, I never judge.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Great. Great. So,
And if you want a definition of a good, bad actor, I think the best thing to do is go to Google and check it out, because there'll be so many, and everybody has their own perceptions. Everybody has their own definition of this. But I don't judge. I purely believe that if I'm seeing you, you've made it on screen. Whether I see you again or not, I don't know. But at least you're done that, so that's huge. So you're a good actor.
hmm, okay, okay, okay. And this, of course, which it has no means of anything. But I just want to ask you this. I think since a while now, the N word is everywhere. I think if you know what the N word is, I mean
Hmm.
nepotism, which is everywhere. So how what are your thoughts on that, and how do you think it has effect on people who are really actor deserving actors more than people who get roles because of their fathers and grandfathers in the industry.
So, uh, okay, about nepotism. If you can answer which field doesn't have nepotism,
Mhm.
and also the fact that it's been happening ever since there's any kind of evolution, right? Uh, so it's there, you know it. Now, there are good things in the world, there are bad things in the world. They're right, they're wrong. You get into a game or you get into a profession knowing everything about that that game, right? You don't get into a game not knowing the rules, right? You don't get into a profession not knowing uh, what the goods are, what the bads are. You got to be prepared, right? So if you look at an industrialist, uh, they always hand over their business to their children,
Hmm.
most likely the boy.
Yeah.
What is that? That's nepotism, right? Uh, More so in an industry because it's a specialized field here. If 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 my father and my grandfather had a steel making company, right? It's a specialization, right? There's specializations about the process of it, the materials that go into the steel, all that stuff. And I have a whole board of managers, corporates, etc. As it goes, the company becomes bigger, right?
Hmm.
And those guys have got a job not because they're related to my father. They have
Hmm.
got a job because they've gone and studied, they've done engineering, they've got their MBA, and they've joined my company and they've done very well. So why shouldn't they get the job and why should the son get the job or the daughter get the job? That's nepotism, correct? Is it right? No. Is it wrong? Yes. Uh, should the most deserving person get the job? Absolutely. But does the most deserving person get the job? No. I mean, that is not the world we live in.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's not perfect.
Yeah.
So, similarly, in acting, uh, should only a film personality's child get the job? No. Should everybody be given an opportunity, equal opportunity? Yes. Are they? No. You know this or you don't know this? You
You
know
know.
this. You've chosen to do it still knowing it. Yes, so why are you complaining now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. I do not support nepotism. I do not vote for it. I'm not for it. But I'm aware of it. And I channel my life knowing it and knowing my obstacles, whether it's nepotism, whether it's whatever. I know it. And it's my duty to be prepared as an actor that I should know my obstacles
Hmm.
and I should know how to overcome those obstacles.
Yeah.
If you're running a hurdle race, 100-meter hurdle race, you can't go on the side and say, how are they hurdles?
Hmm.
Correct?
Yeah.
So all I'm trying to say is that nepotism is wrong in any form. Okay, only the most deserving person should be given the opportunity. But that is not going to happen now. It's not happened 100 years ago. It's not going to happen in the future. What I'm trying to say is that nepotism is wrong, but you should always be prepared and aware and do research on your obstacles
Hmm.
in your path before deciding whether you want to continue in that path or not.
Yeah.
Don't say that. What I don't like and what irritates me a lot is that a lot of people have seen this whole topic going on and on, which is not new and it's brought into the highlight now. But the fact that they are not, or one person has not been able to, like, for example, if I haven't been able to convert in a role, suppose I haven't been able to get a role, all right, if I've auditioned for it and or I've met somebody for it and I've asked them for it and I wanted a role and I've not got it, and somebody else has got it, for I am not going to sit here and cryo spilt milk and give up my career and tarnish everything else about this film industry or any other industry and say I'm going home now. But that's also my choice, na, whether
Yeah.
I want to continue or not. So it's your choice and it's how you want to deal with it. But भाई मैं आप सबको बता रहा हूँ, there is nepotism, it exists, it's a fact. It exists in various degrees. It exists in various in every field. It is a, but what's in your control is whether you want to join a line which you feel you can take care of the obstacles or not. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, yeah, really, really grateful that you just gave a different perspective to it, perspective to it. Thank you for that. And this I just a day back you joined us for a debate. We had a debate and you joined me there, and I was like, why not ask you? And then we have you after 2 days here joining me, and there was everybody was interested too much कि विशाल सर अब क्या कैसे बॉडी बनाई है आपने, विशाल सर अब खाते क्या हो, विशाल सर अब क्या करते हो. So would you like to share with our people, people watching this or listening this, that how is your what's your diet, and how do you you know do your weight trainings and gymming and all?
So I presume that you're asking me about my
Yes. Yeah.
physical self,
Yeah.
physical fitness, not my
Yes.
mental fitness.
Yeah.
So all right, I asked because that's both very important and it's intertwined. Um, Look, I exercise to the best I can. I do a good balance of cardio and I do a good balance of weight training. Well, I haven't for some time now during this lockdown, and I'm planning to get back to it any day now. But I haven't done it. But I have been pretty consistent over my entire life with it. I've been as a child. I've been a swimmer. I've been an athlete. Played a lot of sports, um, which a lot of kids nowadays don't do. As far as diet is concerned, a good only in the last 10, 12 years have I gotten aware of the importance of the diet. So if you ask me what I've done, I have realized that 70% of what you look like physically and what you will become physically happens in the kitchen, not in the gym. You have to eat the right food. You have to put the right food in you. You don't have to starve yourself. You don't have to diet. You have to work according to your body, your metabolism. That's why it's very, very important that you do consult with a nutritionist. I mean, I tell a lot of people who ask me that if I'm limited on my budget between and I can only spend on one, either a nutritionist or a trainer, what should I spend on? And I say nutritionist, because a nutritionist is one who will do that 70% of that work for you if the nutritionist is actually good. So, most important to everybody listening, if they all don't already know, is that what you put inside, your nutrition, is the most important. What you eat is the most important part of being physically fit, followed by the amount of rest you give your body, sleep, followed by one of the most important things is your mental state of mind. If you have a good mental state of mind, trust me, you'll be able to lift more weights, you'll be able to do more reps, and you'll be able to get more results. You'll repair faster. If you eat the right food, it will supplement that growth. If you rest, you see, your body is not made when you are in the gym. Your body is made when you're resting hours later,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So, since you didn't even ask, but I'll add to it because it's very interconnected, that your mind plays a very, very important part in your absolute growth,
Hmm.
physically and mentally. Because if your mind is not healthy, you can forget about it.
Wow. Yeah.
If you leave everything right now and get to correcting your mind, that is the single most important thing, which I feel as Indians and as a big part of the human race, we haven't paid them enough importance to. And that leads to a lot of rubbish. It leads to suicides. It leads to all those kind of things.
Hmm.
लगता है आपकी घंटी बज गई.
No, I just it was just an alarm which I had. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, yes. I just wanted to come to mental health next, Vishal. Just yeah. So anyway, you covered it, how important it is, and how it's neglected. I just want to ask you this question: that when you personally feel anxious and you think, your mind is not at a right stage, how do you deal with that? Of course, you visit an expert which can help you, but what else do you do?
So that's one of the most important questions you've asked me today, and I'm glad that you have. Thank you. Uh, Everybody goes through anxiety. Everybody goes through low points, which can lead to more dangerous things like depression and self-doubt and all those things. Especially in the situation that we have been for over 8 months, 9 months, 10 months now. Um, you see, I was just reading about this fact. I'll put things in perspective because it did for me. I hope it does for your listeners also. That the mind has taken millions and millions of years to evolve from, let's say, even if you go back a few million years to being, uh, a monkey state
Hmm, hmm.
from where we evolved,
Yeah.
from that size, that brain. The mind takes millions and millions of years to actually adjust, to evolve, and to understand. So we're pretty primitive in our own thoughts, anyways. But technology, if you've noticed in the last 10, 20 years, has grown like at a rate which has been 1000x.
Hmm. Yeah.
And today, everything that occupies our mind is based on technology. The internet, your phones, your iPads, your computers, your screens. There's so much information coming into your mind all the time, instant gratification, likes, all these things.
Hmm.
So, so technology has gone zoom, and your mind is still here because it grows at a pace that you can't even see. So, unfortunately, the mind is not being able to adapt to all this glitz and glamour that is happening as of now. And that leads to a lot of imbalance, that leads to a lot of aspirations which are uh, unreachable, you know, that leads to a lot of havoc. Uh, what is social media? Uh, Primarily, social media was invented with a good cause, I would believe, that it would connect people, it would help people,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
everything develops and it's developed into its own monster. It's developed into a place where it becomes a situation like you open anybody's Instagram, anybody's social media, they are putting their best foot forward, and it's not necessarily that that's the truth, right? They'll be looking the best, they'll have put the best filters, they'll be wearing the best clothes, they'll be, so it's a show off factor.
Yeah.
It's a alternate reality, it's an alternate universe. And then there is a lot of people who see that, and most of the people don't look at it as inspiration, but they look at it with a, oh, I don't have that, and that means that I don't have it because I'm not good enough.
Hmm.
So that creates self doubt, and self doubt creates underconfidence, depression, and there's instant gratification. Do you know that every time you get a like, you have roboforms in your mind, which is the happy hormones which get excreted, and they are the hormones which are responsible for addiction,
Hmm. Hmm.
like alcoholism, like drugs. Uh, Social media has become an addiction. So every time you see a like, oh, I've got 10 likes, oh, I've got 20 likes, oh, I get 1,000 likes normally. Why am I only getting 200 likes? So there are a lot of reasons. These are the. It sounds so trivial, but it is how trivial we humans have become.
Yeah.
You know, it is it is wanting to achieve. It is wanting to want, which is great, but it's unreal, and that's creating a lot of anxiety. That's creating a lot of panic attacks. That's creating a lot of inequality. It's not leading to the place it's supposed to reach. So the question then comes, and how do you deal with it? Everybody has to figure out their own way of dealing with it.
Hmm.
Meditation, pranayama, exercising. For me, exercising works. The moment I get my blood flowing, oxygen flowing in my body, I get into a good place. But if it reaches a place where it gets out of your hand and you find yourself crying unnecessarily, just low all the time, snapping at your family, friends, these are all indications that you need to see a specialist. And I want to say something very clearly to all your listeners. There is nothing wrong in taking the assistant or consulting with a psychiatrist or a shrink or a counselor. It's very, very required in today's day and age. And I don't understand why it's considered a taboo in our society. It's like if you get a cold, you'll go to a doctor. So if you're feeling bad about something, it's a chemical reaction. There's nothing jadoo tona about you. You're not abnormal. You're very normal. Excuse me. So if you feel that there are things that you cannot handle, speak to somebody right now. It's very important. And I'm very, very concerned about our country right now, uh, as to where a lot of people using and on social media, what their mental state of mind is right now and what their mental condition is.
Yeah.
So please excuse me for giving such an elaborate answer, but this is very close to something which I'm very concerned about, and I think it matters a lot.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, surely does. You know, yeah, we have to look upon things and leave, break the taboos and move forward in things which will help us. So yeah, Vishal, just one more question I would like to ask you. What would be your advice to anybody who wishes to become an actor or aims to become an actor?
So the first question which I would ask them to ask themselves is why they want to become an actor. What are the reasons? It can be anything. There's no right and there's no wrong. Be clear. Something else that I'd advise them very strongly for is have an infrastructure of a support system ready. And what I mean by a support system is have somebody to fall back on mentally, speak to, because in this line there are far more rejections than there are greenlets, than there are go aheads. There are far more failures than there are successes,
Hmm.
right? There are far more downs and then there are ups. And then the ups and downs, like crests and troughs, are like the sky and the mountain. So it requires a very, very, very steady head on your shoulder. But I don't expect everybody to have that. And a lot of people, most of the people I don't expect anybody to have that strong a head on their shoulder. So you must have somebody who you can go to, whether it's your father, your mother, your sister, your brother, your friends, whoever, who you can consistently kind of make that bouncing board. So have that support system. Thirdly, have a financial backup. Two reasons for it. Number one, as I said in the previous point, there are far more failures than success. It might take you a long time to finally reach where you're supposed to reach and becoming a paid actor.
Hmm.
And that also, then it takes more time to become a paid actor who gets paid well to support a lifestyle.
Hmm. Hmm.
Everybody looks like a Shah Rukh Khan, but a Shah Rukh Khan didn't become a Shah Rukh Khan overnight. He didn't start making hundreds of crores immediately, right? And how many Shah Rukh Khans are there? You understand what I'm saying? And the second point is that um, have a financial backing from a creative angle, because I'm also a strong believer that anybody who does this work as an actor for money will always landing failing, because they'll always uh, they'll take roles for money, which will be one of the reasons, and that should never be a reason.
Hmm.
You should never take a role, according to me, for money. You should take a role for hundreds of other creative reasons, because it inspires you, because you want to do it, because you want to say that story, because you want to perform that character, you want to become that character. Money should not be one of the primary reasons for it. So if you are working for money as an actor, you're doomed to fail. So have money, unless and until you have a base. So that a lot of people might say it's so unfair. So if you don't come from money, you cannot become an actor. No, that's not true. That's not true. But understand that I'm just trying to point out the obstacles on the way, you know, because at one point, the main thing in life is to live.
Hmm.
You want a head over your head, you want a shelter over your head, you want to have food to eat. and then later on you want to be able to provide for your family. You want to, why shouldn't you have a life where you travel the world and where you can afford everything, right? So that's why it's important. And most importantly, be aware of all your obstacles. Do a thorough research. Don't just land up in Bombay and say मैं देखूंगा क्या होगा, मैं इसको जानता हूँ फोन पर तो ये हो जाएगा, ऐसे कुछ नहीं होता है. Every decision is made by 10 to 20 people. There is a lot of money being put, so nobody is going to put money backing you just because you spoke to somebody on the phone. Yes, there is nepotism. Yes, there is preferism. Yes, there is unfairness. That's in every field. All I'm trying to say is research. After you've done all of that, make sure that you're trained as an actor. Make sure that you go to acting classes, acting school, diction classes, improvisation classes. You have to learn your craft. But you see, everybody thinks कि मुझे ये करना है, but everybody forgets कि इसके पहले जो भी preparedness है. So these are a few things which I can tell you on the top of my head, which are very, very important. And I know सब ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग सोच रहे होंगे कि ये क्या बोल रहा है यार, इतने points कैसे हैं यार, मुझे बस actor बनना है. But trust me, you'll thank me later.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. So I just have five quick questions to you. So the first question to you, Vishal, is a best advice you got from anybody.
Oh God, that's a quick question. I don't
Yeah,
even know. I don't even know.
any kind of advice
Just stop.
which helped you.
Or don't don't readily show your emotions to everybody.
Okay, okay, um,
Don't react to a situation immediately.
okay. Yeah, I get you. And a worst advice.
Just do it for me, yaar. What will go wrong?
Okay. Um, a learning you learned from the Vishal of 17 and the Vishal of now.
Um, don't break your back in trying to make somebody else happy. Don't sacrifice your own happiness for somebody else's happiness.
Okay. One thing you do when you feel low on life or love, feel low on in any kind of work or any kind of thing.
I exercise
Okay,
and I fly.
and
It's my passion.
yeah, and one special message you would like to live over here to your fans watching or anybody watching this.
Well, everybody watching this and hearing this, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart that for the last 25 years, you've kept me relevant. You've enjoyed my work, and you've given me the love and respect that you have. Now the onus is on me to continue entertaining you and to continue uh, earning my position in your hearts and your minds. And I promise that I'm going to do the best that I can to entertain you even more for the next 25 years.
Okay. So thank you very much, Vishal. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to have you. Wonderful. And again, I thank you very, very much to be here. Thank you, Vishal.
Pleasure was mine, Lakshit. Thank you.